I was on staff salary June 15th, 1944. I didn't know anything about New York. It was terrifying. And also, what do you think I came to New York with? $20 in my pocket. 8H, the world's largest broadcasting studio. That was a gorgeous place. So high. The stage was elevated. Control room was on this side. And this is hold a 50-piece orchestra on the stage. You know, they had a staff of musicians at NBC where they had their own lounge, their own lockers. It was a staff of like 50 musicians that were on salary. And then, of course, today, if you look back, you say, what happened? Everything is low now with the lighting for television, all these lights. And that goes for all the hallways when you came into 30 Rockefeller Plaza back in the 40s and 50s. You came in, it was just gorgeous. The height, with no cables up above. Now this is the television. Oh, did I abhor that. Oh, the 3 baseball games that I did, and with the write-up that I read in there, was so pitiful, because being a radio announcer, you talked. There's no such thing as dead air. I'm broken in as a radio announcer. You got to keep your mouth going all the time. Describe it. You know, if he's out there, if he happened to scratch his arm or something, I mean, he's scratching his arm, or he's adjusting his cap. Well, you can see that. I'm on air. I got to keep talking. Shoes upside. I was Mr. Mischief too. Gene Rayburn was the MC. And so I was the announcer plus Mr. Mischief with that crazy voice, and they put a little filter on it so you couldn't recognize it. But 1956, Price is Right. We rehearse it, the items, and that's the first time I see it and get my pronunciations or whatever. So we have sort of like a dress, you know, for camera. And that was it. The nighttime version of The Price is Right, I remember the final thing when you won it, that would run as much as 5 or 6 minutes of copy of all the different areas and prices that they're going to see. Boy, did I have to do a lot of reading, you know. A horror. I mean, I couldn't believe it, you know. The editor or whoever it was that ran in from the newsroom and came in, says, we're going to break into the program and mention this. President Kennedy was shot. I don't know how I did it, because they give you the original and it's dropped down and a pencil-like made jump from here to there to there. So you're reading it like this. And of course, NBC wanted to be first, you know, to beat them all. And we did, from my understanding. Jeopardy, starring Art Fleming in March of 1964. We had our same board, which I do have a lot of those cards, you know, the original. Those were all hand-painted cards, and they'd throw them away after the show. I took a lot of those cards home, and I used to put them in the wall and frame them all out and had them in the basement. Looked great, like a Jeopardy board and all. When we first got on the air, he'd come out, thank you, audience, thank you, so-and-so, so-and-so, and he'd do it. And my wife was in there one day, and Merv Griffin would come by, and my wife happened to talk to him. She says, you know, that's kind of strange, you know, Don does such a warm-up on the show. You would think that Art Fleming would say, thank you, Don Pardo, when he introduces him. So Merv Griffin informed Art Fleming, you know, not to do it every show, periodically maybe, and he never forgot it. And they were going to try it for 13 weeks without Fleming out on the coast. I said, well, yeah, I'll leave Saturday Night Live and I'll come out there, you know, and maybe move to the coast. We love having you, but you're taking a risk, you know. Why with such a show like Saturday Night Live? Why would you leave that? And so I thought about it, and I didn't. The creator, Lorne Michaels, they called me in with a big conference, the writers and everybody else, and they wanted to meet me, and they offered me the job. And they're not ready for primetime players. And I said, not for ready. Not for ready. I transposed the I said it correctly on the air in the dress rehearsal. They loved Belushi. Aykroyd was quite glib. Jane Curtin. That original cast was just fabulous, you know, all the way down. I had a little laryngitis, and it was creeping in as the day was going. And Darrell Hammond did it, and he did such a job. My sister-in-law called up from Newport, said, you were going back to your acting days. You sounded terrific. Michael O'Donoghue was his idea to get rid of Don Pardo. Oh, and what he wanted to do was to have me fired on the air. But Dick Ebersol said, no, we're not going to, we can't do that. You don't want me, I'm out of here. That's it. Or if I want to leave, I quit and tell you where to go. You know. So it didn't faze me at all. My agent called me up and he says, are you standing up? I said, yeah, why? He said, you may want to sit down. He says, you got one here for 6 words. You're getting $25,000. So I get on mic and says, all right, give us a level, you know, the engineer. So I take 6 words and I rattle them off. You know, I'm just giving them a level, you know. Level okay? He said, that's fine. That's the take. The producer says, what? I says, that isn't, no, I want to do it right. If it makes you feel better, the producer from the agency says, go ahead, give it to us. So, this is a take. And I'm happy. He says, that sounded pretty good, Don, but we're still taking the first take. In about an hour or two, whatever, my agent calls up and he says, they were pleased, everything's fine, you're not getting $25,000. Well, naturally, I figured it was ridiculous anyway, you know. I was there 15 minutes. He says, you're not getting $25,000, you're getting $50,000. Huh? It's 60 years and 6 months. I came there on the 15th of 1944, and December 31, 204, that's what it suits NBC for departure time in there. I gave my letter of resignation for that was the following year to Lorne Michaels personally, and said that I was retiring completely. I'll complete the season. They pleaded with me, would you please come in for the first 4 shows? And they said, how about the next, could you come in and do the next 2? So I said, I can tape that from out here. So we did that in the next 2. It's not the same. Now, lately, they introduce me. Here's the legend. And I come out, and my big ad-lib thing is, just a second. You're going to call me a legend? Please, living legend. I think it was on the basis of doing the game shows and all, and the exaggerations, elongate a word, Saturday Night Live, things. It just came kind of natural, And if you don't give it to them, they say, what's the matter? Or had I known that I'd be around for like 60 years in broadcasting, I would have kept a diary of the untold people that I've been with. It's amazing.